What up, boys, and welcome back to another Clash Miss episode. Today, we're on the subreddit, which is somewhere I haven't been in a fair amount of time. I think that's fair to say. But today I'm using it for, I was going to say for good, but I'm not really doing anything for it there with it. It's just a video. But yeah, today, as you can see by the title of this post, leave your number one meta deck in the comments below for a video. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. We're gonna review what everyone thinks is the best deck currently, and we're gonna comment on them, I guess. Also, as a side note, my subreddit, 4 upvotes, but 18 comments. What are you doing, 18 people? Why have you just, like, left this post and made me look really sad and lonely? So, I haven't read through these, but I do get notifications through to my phone, so I've sort of seen some of the decks, like, glance across, and some people have maybe misinterpreted the question as, what is your number one meta deck of all time, when I just meant currently. So yeah, let's read through these, and I guess it's my fault for not being too clear in the post, and I'll sort of judge them on a case-by-case basis. So Aliab says, see if Three Musketeers Pump is still relevant in today's meta, and pretty much I just replied saying, I'm not going to be playing them, I'm just going to be reviewing what everyone thinks is the best deck, but I'm pretty sure this one is going to be the best deck of all time, and Free on Pump, I don't know if it is one of the best decks of all time. I don't even know if it's going to be one of the decks now. Like, it was strong for sure, and there was definitely a moment in the meta game where Three Musketeers Pump with the Minion Horde and the Miner, and I think that was around when Heal was strong. That was insanely strong, but then again in that meta, like, Night Witch was probably better. So I don't know, definitely not the best now, and probably wasn't the best even in its peak time. Pegabridge Round Magic Archer is also a very good shout. This one has been popular for ever. Like, I'm pretty sure this came about late 2017, or maybe it was 2018. It was one of the years. It came out towards the end of the year, and it's been popular ever since. Like, they've never been able to kill that deck just because the cards synergize so well. Like, they can nerf, Ghost and Dark Prince all they want, but, those Bridgefam decks still have Battle Ram and Bandit, so you can never really lose out being a Bridgefam player, can you? And then P.E.K.K.A, of course, has just been insane ever since it got its 1 second deploy time and just chops things up. And Magic Archer's really come into its own in this current meta. I don't actually know why. Of course, it got buffed a little bit, but that's probably not going to make it an extremely meta card. So that one was from Lucosi. I didn't read his name, sorry. Villain rates me an essay and says, best deck right now, in my opinion, has to be Elixir Golem, Night Witch, Battle Healer, Lightning, with the remaining cards being whatever beatdown cards that you can easily shoehorn in. I mean, that's pretty much all beatdown. It's a deck that just has so many opportunities to shine and run away with a game. In early game, if you happen to get a solid counter push, you instantly get a shot at taking Princess Tower off the bat, and once you get into double Elixir and sudden death, you have the best tower taking potential possible, even against traditional counters, to beat down. I mean, yeah, you've like 100% nailed it. I would agree that that's the best deck in the game right now. Again, I made a video on this deck, which was like, this has got to be the best deck right now. Like, it is insane. All of the cards synergize so well. Like, you take any 2 of those cards, and you can find the synergy in them, right? Elixir Golem, Night Witch. Of course, cheap tank, amazing support. Night Witch Battle Healer is a support that doesn't have too much HP and is weak to spells, with a card that can heal, and then you can even do Battle Healer Elixir Golem, which, the Elixir Golem, when it splits up into blobs, synergizes so well with Battle Healer because it just heals them up, and those blobs do so much DPS. Lightning, I don't know if that, needs to be in the definitely needed category. I think you can run Poison in there as well, and it'll work. But Lightning is best because, of course, Elixir Golem's so cheap, you can always, not always, but you can pretty much always afford to run that Lightning and get value with it. So I'd actually probably agree that this is the best deck right now. Is it the best deck ever? Oof, that one's a toughie. I don't know if anything physically can beat the old double legendary deck, like when legendaries first came out and they were an entire level above everything else at tournament standard. That was pretty insane. For those of you who don't know, tournament standard used to be level 8, I believe, but legendaries were still their current level, so everything was nerfed by 10% health and damage, but legendaries stayed the same. There were only Ice Wizard and Princess, so you just sort of put them into every single deck, and yeah, it was insane. I think it also ran Elixir Collector, which was 5 Elixir for 7 at the time and had insane HP, so yeah, that one was pretty good, and maybe that's actually my submission, but I'm going to pick one out of these, so if somebody says that, then I'll probably be picking that. Pizza President says, a disgusting clone deck, easy to run and frustrating to play against. Clone, Night Witch, Executional Fisherman, Flying Machine, Tornado, Log, or Witch. Weird choice there. Giant Skeleton, Cannon Cart. There aren't many counters to this meta abusing deck, so I'd really want to see you use it and realize its potential, not release. I hate you, Fisherman Clone, Tornado, Giant Skeleton. All you're missing is a minion horde about here. Let's make it truly annoying. Yeah, this is probably one of the most toxic decks. I'm not sure it's going to be one of the best decks of all time because, like, Witch isn't great right now. Or are you talking when the Witch was strong? But the Night Witch wasn't too good, and I don't know, maybe that has a shout, actually. My only problem with it is Cannon Cart hasn't been good for a while, and Flying Machine doesn't have any Fireball bait in here. So I don't know if this is going to be one of the best decks of all time. Maybe one of the most toxic decks of all time, but best, maybe not. I don't know how to say this name. I'm sorry. Chaos4? Thank you for your submission. Pekka Double Prince, we're in there. The vintage deck, not the new one, so he means the one with Pump and the double legendaries. I think it's surprisingly effective in this meta. So he's talking about it in this meta. I don't know if it would work right now because, I don't know, Dark Prince isn't great, Ice Wiz isn't great, Princess isn't great without bait, and Elixir Golem isn't great. So I don't know if it would work right now, but I agree it's definitely up there. I've already discussed it, how it was insane in its time, so I'd maybe agree that it's actually one of the best of all time, but right now probably not. For some surprising reason, I'm not going to shout at this person, but the best deck, in my opinion, is OG Logbait with Tesla. So yeah, I know the list. It's hard to argue against. Like, in its time, it was pretty insane. Like, it just was. It's hard to explain, but this deck changed itself to counter itself. So this deck, what one did he put in? He put Tesla. So this used to run Inferno Tower, as a lot of you will know, but it actually changed because Logbait was so meta-dominating that it put in Tornado or Tesla to counter other Logbait. Because obviously Tesla does well against Princesses, even Knights, it can counter Gob Gangs and stuff like that. And then Tornado does well against Gob Barrels and can even counter Gangs in a pinch, so it evolved to counter itself because it was so meta-defining, so yeah, it would definitely have to be up there in my opinion. Of course, Pekka Bridgebram, that's 2 votes for Pekka Bridgebram. 2.9 Xbow, mainly because I've practiced a lot with it and feel confident in almost all matchups that I'll win, especially with a new tiebreaker going for the draw and focusing on spell chip, because against like RG, breaking through isn't going to happen, is viable for the win. So yeah, even now in the current meta, 2.9 Xbow could be one of the best in the game. My only caveat with that is Elixir Golem, where it's such a hard counter, and even, you know, arrows being viable now, killing archers and doing a ton of damage, and even when Barbarian Barrel was really strong. Xbow has always had this sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of just had a safety net in a card that can always counter it if Xbow becomes too strong. So Xbow could maybe be the strongest deck of all time, but I don't think it's ever going to be the most meta deck, because not everybody can run it, because it's sort of a little bit higher skill cap than the rest, but also, like, if everybody just runs it, somebody's just going to run Elixir Golem and win every single matchup, because there are those safety nets in place. So I agree it's super strong, but would it be the most meta of all time? Maybe not. Xbow 2.9 or Icebow? I don't know about Icebow being the strongest of all time. I've never rated Ice Wizard, even with Tornado. It's sort of been but I can see how it's strong. He does caveat by saying depends how the meta is. So yes. I haven't been shouting people out, I'm sorry. Alpha TBN, I can't say her name, I'm sorry. Hater? Maybe? That's a weird way to spell it, but Hater. Determined Game says Elite Bob's Rage. Do I even need to read your comment? Probably not. Gonna leave that one there. Pasquette says my deck. I actually said his name right. Oh no, I've conditioned myself in saying his name correctly. Geometry Emperor says decks that are meta take no skill. That's why they are meta, because everybody can use them without any trouble. Traditional decks do not advance the skill level, they stagnate it. The skill ceiling of the player only raises if you try. Other decks never thought of. I just read all of that perfectly and hit the mic. You know what? I'm leaving that in. But interesting comment. My post was just leave your number 1 meta decks in the comments below, and he's basically said meta decks are no skill. It depends what the meta deck is, because the meta is only defined by the most skilled players. I wouldn't say like Giant Skeleton Wizard Witch Spam is the most meta deck right now, even though it's probably one of the most popular decks on ladder. I would say the meta decks are only defined by, you know, like the 8 wins and up in Grand Challenges, or like the top 200 on leaderboards. So I don't know if this comment sort of gets where I'm coming from, but yeah, I think meta is defined by skill because it only incorporates the skilled players. It doesn't count, you know, the random ladder noobs. But I hope you understand that, Geometry Emperor. And yeah, I mean, cool comment if you're talking about ladder, but in the context of my post, like, I have to disagree with that. But on ladder, yeah, I can agree. And then there are just some nubs talking about Brawl Stars, because of course they are. But yeah, that was 18 comments of the most meta decks, I guess, of all time this video turned into. So that's the new title. Also, if you're wondering why the title probably says 500, it's because we have 393 members in the subreddit, which is almost 400, which is almost 500. So I'm going to allow myself to write 500 because it's better clickbait, and we're almost there, it's fine. But yeah, it's going to be all for this video. It was just sort of something interesting. I said I'd bring, not Reddit review, but something on Reddit back. So maybe I'll just do posts like this where, you know, I pin it for 24 hours, I get your guys' replies, and I can make a video on it. Hopefully this does well. If not, then maybe we'll never see Reddit ever again. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. But apart from that, peace.